This is the MISD October 21st, 2025 regular meeting, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. If you would please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, the invocation, and the salute to the Texas flag.
Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, we invite you and your presence into every school board meeting. Let these gatherings be marked by peace, productivity, and clear communication. Keep our words seasoned with grace, and may every decision be made with wisdom and discernment. Silence any confusion or unnecessary conflict, and help us to stay focused on what truly matters, the well-being and success of our students and educators. Guide us, O Lord, as we work together for a brighter future, ensuring that every conversation reflects patience, kindness, and mutual respect. In your name we pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. Pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Dr. Ruffin, special recognitions.
We're either doing some special recognitions or having a party in here. I don't know which one is happening tonight, but I think we got some special recognitions. Mr. Marino.
Yes, we are. Dr. Ruffin, board, tonight we have a number of special recognitions, but first I'd like to ask Miss Tyler Bussell to join me with her friend Olivia. So this school year is Montgomery ISD's golden year, and as part of our focus on recognizing the amazing people in our school district, like you, we are doing gold standard shout-outs where our employees can shout out their peers for something that they've done above and beyond their regular job duties, and this was a special gold standard. So we wanted to invite Tyler in to be recognized tonight. The nomination came from her principal, Miss Carrie Ashlock, and the nomination said that Miss Bussell acted quickly and courageously to save a student who was choking. By performing the Heimlich maneuver, she prevented a potentially dangerous situation and ensured the student's safety. Her calm, decisive presence and care for Olivia exemplifies the heart of what it means to be an educator. And I'll just add that Tyler was one of the first individuals I had the privilege of meeting when I came into Montgomery ISD, and it's pretty quick to see her passion for this district and for what she does. And Tyler wears many hats in our school district. She has served on our education foundations. She's served on our district advisory committee. She's served as a PTO president, and she now teaches at Lincoln. And everything she does it with grace, kindness, and a lot of passion. So we appreciate you, Tyler.
And I have the pleasure tonight to kick off a new initiative. We're going to start this meeting with our first MISD Premier Partner recognition. This is a designation that we are going to do in 25-26, and it's awarded to local businesses and organizations that lead with generosity and investment in young people in our community through support of our schools and educators. Our first recipient of the Premier Partners designation is the Lone Star Parkway Chick-fil-A. And tonight, if you guys would please join me, we have Mr. Joseph Piotrowski, who's the Chick-fil-A owner and operator, Mr. Tom Zupko, the Director of Operations, and Mrs. Erica Sumner, who is the Director of Marketing and Sales. Thank you all for being here tonight. It is so fitting that we've chosen Chick-fil-A as our first recipient. Since the store's opening in 2020, they have been the most generous friend of the school district. In addition to offering catering services for many booster clubs, PTOs, and campuses, Chick-fil-A provided dessert, 1,200 chocolate chip cookies for every MIC employee, only because I called Erica and asked her to do so. So thank you. At Convocation in August, a year prior when we needed iced tea for the same event, we called and they happily delivered 50 gallons for that event. Each year, they host a Motown Showdown competition, a week-long profit-sharing event where patrons earn money for the Montgomery ISD Education Foundation simply by saying "Go Bears" or "Go Lions" when they place their order. This competition has been made even more special over the past couple of years when you have staff members who are manning cash registers, refilling drink orders, and actually working the tablet in the drive-through line. And that is quite a surprising thrill when you go to get your Chick-fil-A pickup and your principal takes your order. So we have some slides of some of that too. Store leaders have also been tapped to serve on district committees. Mrs. Sumner, in her capacity as the Director of Marketing Sales, is a member of our District Advisory Committee, the DAC, and Mr. Piotrowski served as a member of the 2022 Bond Steering Committee, lending a local business perspective to important work of these groups. In addition to sponsoring an Athlete of the Week program for the district and donating gift cards for special events, they are always happy to open their doors to MISD groups. They have been the site of Bond 22 and Prop A information sessions, Coffee with Cops events, countless team meetings, PTA coffees, and even an occasional impromptu choir performance by one of our fine arts programs. The store's marquee, this is the best part, on Lone Star Parkway has become something of a public notice board for our community. 3 times celebrating the Lake Creek Lion softball team for winning state championships. I believe they come back through town and they have to stop there first to get their photo. And serving as official tally board during the Lions versus Bears Spirit Week. We are so pleased to recognize our Montgomery Chick-fil-A as our first premier partner. We are grateful to you for your unwavering support of our school district in big ways and small ways, and for coming alongside us in our efforts to deliver a premier education for our kids and for helping us have some fun and for feeding us in the process. Thank you so much.
So I just want to echo a lot of what was just said real quick. It's incredible to be in this community and have folks in our buildings like Ms. Bustle, like many of you here tonight, and then folks outside of our buildings that recognize the work that's happening in our building and the opportunities they have to support the work in our buildings. I mean, Chick-fil-A, y'all know that when we have principals working the tablet, y'all's efficiency rate drops drastically. That's got to be losing out on money directly. So it's incredible, this Premier Partner Program that we're starting. It's just for us just to pause and recognize the incredible support we have from folks in this community and how they just continue to give back. So I just want to say thank y'all so much for your support and continued involvement in what we're doing.
Okay, lastly, can I get the campus principals to come join me up front, please?
So tonight, in keeping with the spirit of our golden year, we are pleased to recognize our campus principals for their unique contributions to their campus communities. We are blessed in Montgomery ISD to have leaders at each of our schools who are truly invested in their campuses, their staff, and their kids. We've done a lot of celebrating this month on social media, and now we're excited to celebrate them in person, and glad they are here this evening for a special awards ceremony. Let's hear it one more time for amazing campus leaders in Montgomery ISD.
Moving on, public comments. Ms. Alcantar, are there any public comments? Ms. Alcantar, any public comments? All right, moving on to 5A board member. Yeah, I'm trying.
Gotta get that noisy MHS crew out of here. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right, moving on to information items. 5A board member campus learning walk reflections.
So I just want to kind of queue up this time. And this is a activity we started last year with our trustees. As we discussed opportunities to just stay engaged in the work. Obviously, these folks are here a countless number of hours throughout the month already, just in the business side of the meetings piece. But there's still a disconnect. The farther you stay away from the classroom, the more disconnected you remain. And so I said, let's roll our sleeves up and let's get in classrooms. And so we started this last year and pair up 2 or 3 in a group, and we go see our campuses, and we go spend time with our teachers, and we go talk to our principals and see our kids, and just allow us to have that constant reminder of the goodness that's happening, and to recognize ways we can support our staff and continue to allow them to do the incredible work that they do. And so just an opportunity for our trustees to speak into what they've seen and reflect on the opportunities they had on each one of our campuses.
I'll start it. I will tell you that these learning walks going to these campuses is probably one of the highlights of our time on the board, just to actually truly get to see what our teachers are doing on the campuses and the interaction that they're having with our students. When I'll tell you on my behalf, whenever I leave there, I feel refreshed, and I feel like what we're actually doing is actually working out there. And it's truly remarkable. There's never has been a time that we've left any of these campuses that I thought, man, what are they doing? It's truly remarkable what happens inside those walls. A couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to visit Montgomery High School, walk the campus, and spend time with Dr. Calavo and his leadership team. From the moment I arrived, it was clear that something truly special was happening on this campus. The sense of teamwork, shared purpose, and genuine care for students was evident in every interaction, whether in the hallways, classrooms, or during conversations with staff. As we walked through classrooms, the learning environment felt both challenging and supportive. It was clear that the teachers are deeply committed to fostering curiosity, critical thinking, and growth in every single student. In just his second year as principal, Dr. Calavo has done an exceptional job of building a leadership team that works collaboratively, communicates clearly, and models a shared vision for the campus. He has also been deliberate in establishing the right systems, processes, and belief structures to create a culture rooted in trust, accountability, and continuous improvement. The impact of his intentional work is evident not only in the classroom, but also in the confidence and pride reflected across the students and staff. I left Montgomery High School feeling incredibly proud of the work happening there and extremely optimistic about the future. Under Dr. Calavo's leadership, the Bears are building a strong foundation and lasting success, and the future is extremely bright for this campus. I will tell you also that it was very warm in there. It drew you in, and we needed that back at MHS. And to see that feel and have that feeling when we left there was truly remarkable. I felt a very similar way after having the opportunity to visit Montgomery Elementary School. Mr. Ingalls walked us through 5th grade classrooms, including dual language classrooms. It was amazing to see our kids so engaged with such outstanding educators, and left MES feeling proud of the work Mr. Ingalls and his team are doing to serve all students and meet their various academic and personal needs.
So I was on, nope. All right. So I was on that with Eddie on that same day, and we made 3 stops that day. So I'll talk a little bit about the one we got to make that I was so excited about. From dreaming of the CTE Center to finally on that day getting to see the students in action on a regular school day was absolutely amazing. The kids were engaged in learning, but they weren't just sitting and listening. They had their hands on all kinds of equipment. We started out in the automotive technology program, and students were watching a tire being balanced and learning how to do that. I was standing next to one student who said to me that his own truck was what was up on the lift, and that it was his own tire that was getting balanced. So it was really neat, and he had a big smile on his face. He was really excited about that. Then we also went to the health science program. Students were participating in a simulated emergency scenario. Each student assumed a specific first responder role, working together to assess the situation, make quick decisions, and provide medical care. The scenario felt really realistic, And watching the students collaborate under pressure and apply what they learned in such a practical setting was truly amazing. I also ended up standing next to a student that was a former student of my own when I was teaching in MISD, and I asked him what he was going to do after high school, and he said he was going to become a firefighter, and that what he's doing now is on that path already, and he'll have an EMT certification before he gets out of high school. So that's incredible. So these students are not only gaining valuable technical skills, but also developing confidence. They're going to go out into the workforce having touched this machinery, having touched these items and used them and worked with them and be used to it and have that confidence as they go out. And they're going to have problem-solving abilities and going to be able to serve our community well and have a bright future. The thing I want to say as well is for Montgomery Elementary School, it was incredible. They have so many specialized programs there, and I cannot say enough about the heart of Mr. Ingalls. That man will go put so much extra time in whatever he has to do. He will do it for his students. As you can see, he's always in tennis shoes. He is running around, sitting on floors, doing whatever he has to do. And sometimes it's a very tough job, but he just has a heart for it, and it's absolutely amazing, and it shines in every conversation that we have with him. So that's what I want to say about my last learning walk.
So I had the privilege of going to Lake Creek High School as well as Creekside Elementary, and truly look forward to going and visiting the schools to engage with the teachers, the students, and just to see what they're doing. It really kind of helps confirm why the seven of us do this for Montgomery ISD. I was thrilled to have the opportunity to visit Lake Creek and meet with Mr. Williams and his new vision for the Lake Creek and the get-to mindset. You get to come to work. You don't have to come to work, and that's the mindset that he's instilling in Lake Creek, in the staff, and in the students and the families. There's a positive energy on campus, and you can feel the pride students have and the staff in what they are going to accomplish together this year. One of the highlights of my visit was spending time in I'm probably going to mess this up, Mrs. Pieroti's class. She's a brand new teacher at Lake Creek High School in the English class. The classroom environment she has created is dynamic and welcoming, encouraging students to actively participate, ask questions, and engage deeply with the text that they were reading in the class. Every student in the room was focused on analyzing the passage they were reading, and it was clear that they felt both challenged and supporting in their learning. Even in her first year with the district, Ms. Pieroti has already earned the respect of her students and is making a meaningful impact on their growth. I also had the opportunity to go visit Mr. Baxter's music class at Creekside Elementary and got to play the ukulele with the second graders, probably some photos or videos of us there. The student engagement in each classroom at Creekside was awesome to see. Visiting Lake Creek High School and Creekside Elementary were a powerful reminder of the incredible work happening every day in our classrooms. Between strong leadership, dedicated teachers, and engaged students, it's exciting to see the culture of collaboration and excellence that continues to grow across our district.
Last thing I'll say is I just want to thank Dr. Ruffin for bringing this to our district. We didn't have this before, and it is truly, I think the staff at each one of these campuses enjoy now seeing us come there to showcase to us what they're able to do. And I just want to thank you again for bringing this to our district.
Just to add to that, sorry, just with seeing Dr. Ruffin out in the classrooms, I know we've talked a lot about the principals and what we get out of it, but the feedback I get from teachers about him being on the floor reading to kids or getting a personalized note from the superintendent. I mean, I think I've taught in 9 states, and I've never walked in and seen a superintendent sitting on the floor reading a book with a kid, or could even maybe tell you what the superintendent looked like. But to know that, I think it's part of what keeps Montgomery having that small town feeling, is that we have a superintendent who doesn't mind, writing a nice note to a teacher or getting on their hands and knees to help a kid clean up. And so I just love that he's there with us, because he keeps that small town feeling. And he's approachable, and I've seen him giving kids high fives and, acting as a crossing guard and parents walking up to him. So thank you for implementing this and being out there for our community.
Anybody else? All right, moving on to consent agenda 6. Would anyone like to pull an item from the consent agenda? If none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through D as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. Is there a second? Thank you, Ms. Ivy, or Dr. Ivy, excuse me. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to action items. Consider approval of proposed library materials as presented.
All right, good evening. So on your agenda tonight is information about our library materials, some purchases that our libraries are making. This is a new process. There we go. A new process this year, Senate Bill 13 that was passed this year, we updated our EFB local board policy to reflect some changes. And so the purpose of Senate Bill 13 really is to make sure that we have good quality materials in our library, absent from anything that's inappropriate or offensive or obscene. So this new process was implemented. So on the website, what we'll do is before it comes to the board meeting, the library list that's going to be adopted is posted for at least 30 days. And so on our district website under library services, under departments library services, that link is there and it is posted for 30 days before it comes to the board meeting. So the selection of our library materials, this is what our librarians kind of look at when they are selecting materials. So they're looking to enrich and support the TEKS. They're looking at different maturity levels, abilities, and learning styles. They want to foster growth in factual knowledge and literary appreciation. And they encourage the enjoyment of reading as well. The selection also covers a variety, represents different ethnic, religious, and culture groups. And then it's also should be free of obscene, patently offensive, indecent content, or harmful material. So those are the things they keep in mind as they're looking at the content. They do all this review before they put it on the spreadsheet that's published on the website. The expectation that came out of Senate Bill 13 is that this selection process is for not only books that are purchased by the library, but also any books that may be donated and given to the library. So they'll go through that same process. This does not include any instructional materials. So instructional materials have their own adoption process. This is just for material that are in our libraries that students may choose and select on their own. These purchased library materials, after they're approved, will get added to our district Destiny Library. This is an online catalog that's also in our departments under library services. It's a public catalog that you can look and see all of the material that's available in our library. And our libraries are refreshing the content all the time. So this is a regular basis. Looking, what is the new, if there's a popular series, what is the new book that's come out? So they want to add those new books and keep those interesting books in our libraries. So this is an agenda item that you're going to see on a regular basis. So they've already started on the next month's list. That's been published on the website as well. So that'll be published for that 30 days, and then we'll bring another list in November. So with that, in your board book, you did have a copy of the list of the books that were on the last list. The other thing that we have on our website is the availability for anybody to have public comment. So if they want to review that list and they have any questions or concerns about any of the titles, they have the option to submit public comment. We did not receive any questions or concerns about the current list that you have in front of you. So at this time, we would recommend that you approve that proposed library material. Questions?
Is there a motion to approve the proposed library materials list as presented?
I motion we approve the proposed library list as presented.
Thank you, Dr. Ivy. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Cameron. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Moving on, 7B, consider approval to amend the district innovation plan as presented.
Yes, so we are a district of innovation. We currently have a plan that is good through February 2027, but based on some new legislation that was passed this summer, there are some amendments that we need to make to that DOI plan. So we drafted some of those amendments and we brought them to our district advisory committee on September 17th. They reviewed those and they did vote to present those amendments to the board for approval. The board does need a 2/3 affirmative action vote to be able to approve these amendments to add to our plan. So the overview of what those changes are, currently we already have this in our plan for teacher certification. This allows us to have some flexibility when we're hiring someone who may not have a teacher certification. That is not our goal. We're always looking for someone who has a teacher certification, but we may have some roles where it's not as appropriate. For example, at our CTE center, y'all talked about that tonight, about what specialized skills those teachers have to have. And sometimes someone who's been in that industry is more knowledgeable and more ready to teach that course than maybe someone with that doesn't have that has a teaching certificate. So this allows us to hire them for those services in that area. To be able to adopt this, we had to put the statement in there that this exception may not apply to certain areas. We already had that it may not apply to any special education position or any bilingual ESL certifications. This summer, they passed a new thing where we had to also include pre-kindergarten, so you can't have any exceptions for pre-kindergarten. So that is one of our amendments. A grievance policy. So this summer, there was new legislation that passed that requires the school district to adopt a grievance policy. They added some suggestions in that this policy should extend the timelines that are currently under our current practices. And after reviewing that, the team kind of met and looked at that and determined that we really feel like our current grievance policy allows us to address any concerns in a timely manner so that we can get those taken care of and responded to rather in the extended time period that the new procedures suggested. So this amendment would allow us to keep our current grievance practices. Then this one is for instructional plans and course syllabus. So there was new legislation that required us to adopt a policy that mandates the posting of instructional plans and course syllabus on the district website. In addition to, teachers should provide those plans to parents. And so when we looked at this plan, we absolutely believe in teachers being able to communicate what their instructional plans are to their classrooms. What was challenging was trying to figure out how to get every single course that we offer in our school district a plan posted on our district website. That's a lot of courses. If you've ever seen our course guide, when that goes out just for the high schools, it's a very thick document and all kinds of courses. So it would be a cumbersome process to try to get all of that in one central location. So this amendment would allow us to not have to do the district level website, but we would still ask that our teachers communicate their plans to parents through other means. And then the last one, we had a DOI amendment for DAP placement for e-cigarettes that allowed us to have some flexibility. However, new legislation says that you cannot have any kind of DOI exception for anything that falls under Chapter 37 student discipline. So we had to take this out. Plus, they also passed some legislation that built in some other flexibilities along this line already. So we will be removing that from our DOI plan. And so that is it with our recommended amendments. So any questions?
Is there a motion to approve the amended District of Innovation Plan as presented?
I'll make a motion to consider approval to amend the District of Innovation Plan as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Cameron. Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. Keelan. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Item 7C, consider approval of purchase over $50,000 for new chillers at Montgomery High School as presented.
All right, good evening, Board. Dr. Ruffin. We are here tonight asking for approval and consideration of 3 new chillers at Montgomery High School. It's some of the last chillers that need to be replaced on that campus to get it to where it's in good shape mechanically. We went out and solicited 3 quotes using purchasing co-op pricing. And we came down to TNR as our recommended. They came in with as the best value for the district. We had a good experience with them at Keenan when they installed the air-cooled chiller over there. So we recommend these TNR for this purchase.
What kind of shape are we going to be in after we replace these chillers with the rest of our campuses?
We're kind of in the middle of the assessment right now of doing what it was left. Based on the 2021 assessment that was done, we're up to speed. We've done pretty much everything that was done in that 2021 assessment, and that was really to determine what the bond needed to add to the bond. But we've replaced some additional chillers since then. I mean, it's a 5-year-old assessment. So we continue to look at Lincoln Elementary as one, and some of their air-cooled chillers. They're smaller. There's some rooftop units at Montgomery High School we need to look at. Everywhere else, we're in pretty good shape.
The last thing I have is what kind of lead time?
13 to 16 weeks on these.
This is for 3 units?
3 units,
3
yes,
units,
sir.
okay. And what's the warranty on those units?
10 years.
10 years, okay.
Yeah, it's a typical carrier unit, and what we did differently with these is there's hail protection on the coil, and then also some E-coating for freeze protection. What's damaged a few of them over time is the freeze wears them out. Through also working with LTY, we've added some barrel heaters and some other components to the electrical upgrades that we've done on campuses to try to keep the freeze protection when we have a really bad case freeze, keep it going and save those chillers. Cold weather's hard on them.
Is there a motion to approve the purchase over $50,000 for new chillers at Montgomery High School as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Dennison. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. 7D, consider approval for purchase over $50,000 for additional technology for the board meetings at the CTE building as presented.
Right, thank you. So as you know, we're going to start moving our board meetings to the CTE LGI. It's a beautiful space, showcase for our community to have our board meetings there. One of the things that we need in that space is a place to record, live stream our board meetings. This proposal is working with the same vendor who set up the audiovisual at CTE to continue the kind of pull the thread through and finish out that boardroom. Longest lead item on here are these microphones that are similar to this, and Amanda's already started the procurement process for some of those. They're not a real long lead time or expensive item, but they are the longest lead time on that. And so we are asking for approval and consideration for adding that equipment to the CT Center for board meetings.
And I want to add that we're still a ways out from making that transition over there to, again, showcase that campus. It's a beautiful facility, serve well for a boardroom, but it would be communicated well in advance. It's not like someone's going to show up here on a Tuesday expecting us to see here and like, oh, we moved. We're still a long ways out from that in this technology piece. One, it allows that space to continue to serve as more of a multifunction space across the district. And though it would be great to just utilize everything that we have here, everything that we have here is also now dated. And because it would be a flex space and multi-use space, the equipment needs to be mobile and packed up and put away and then brought back out for board meetings. And so just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you, Dr. Ruffin. Is there a motion to approve the purchase over $50,000 for the additional technology for board meetings at the CTE Center as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Dennison. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mr. Cameron. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mansfield. Moving on to information items. 8A, required annual presentation for the 2024-2025 LEP student progress.
Good evening. All right. Would you believe that last year we had 19 different home languages represented within our emergent bilingual student body in Montgomery ISD? I'm Jennifer Dehart. I'm the District Testing Coordinator and Bilingual ESL Specialist. And tonight I'm going to present to you a summary of our program evaluation for the 24-25 school year. Within the district, our programs that were offered for our emergent bilingual students included dual language immersion program models, as well as English as a second language. For the dual language immersion program models, the instruction is both in Spanish and in English for pre-K through 5th grade. And within that, we have a one-way model, which is comprised of native Spanish-speaking students only. And we also have a two-way immersion model where our native Spanish speakers and native English speakers are combined. For ESL, this instruction is in English only and is offered for pre-K through 12th grade. We have a content-based model in which all core content area teachers are ESL certified. That's a lot more common at the elementary level. And then we have pull-out where just the ELA teacher is ESL certified. And our staff for each of those program models include 126 teachers that were ESL certified that actually serve students for the 24-25 school year for pre-K through 12th grade. And that's an area where we can continue to improve. We need to increase our number of ESL certified teachers as this population continues to grow. For our dual language immersion programs at Montgomery Elementary School, we had 9 bilingual teachers, which is a requirement for the dual language immersion program. Here are those languages listed in order. Of course, we have Spanish is our most dominant language, followed by Chinese, Vietnamese, Russian, etc. As our population has grown, so has the variety of languages.
As a specialist, can you speak all those?
No, I can't even pronounce the name of some of the languages. I've had to Google where some of them are even from, honestly. It's very interesting. So this is comparing our data from the 23-24 school year to the 24-25 school year, and you'll see increases across the board. So for our emergent bilingual population in Montgomery last year, we had 385 identified students. Within our dual language immersion classes, where we had both emergent bilinguals and English proficient students, we had 177 participants, which was up from the year prior. Just the emergent bilingual students alone that were served in the dual language program were 129 of them, so that's the native Spanish side. For our ESL programs across the district, we had 243 identified emergent bilinguals. We had 13 students whose parents had chose not to provide those services for their students. We had 0 students who had been in ESL, met exit criteria, and needed to come back. We did not have that instance occur. And then we had 29 students last year that were able to reclassify from emergent bilingual status to English proficient. So they met exit criteria and are no longer an emergent bilingual and no longer require that assistance in language acquisition. So that was an increase from the year prior as well. This is just a sampling of some of the opportunities that our bilingual and ESL teachers had for professional development opportunities that are very specific to teaching emergent bilinguals. For example, reading and writing with emergent bilingual students, content-based language instruction. There were a couple of different leadership academies they attended, as well as conferences. And here we have our TELPAS data. So the TELPAS test is a Texas English Language Proficiency Assessment System, and all students in the state of Texas, kindergarten through 12th grade, that are identified as emergent bilinguals are required to take this assessment each spring. It's testing their English proficiency, and it tests them in the areas of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And it gives them a score of beginning, intermediate, advanced, or advanced high proficiency level. This represents a composite of the scores for our kindergarten through 12th grade students from last year. And you can see that 37% of our students were at that intermediate level, closely followed behind by 36% that have achieved that advanced level of English proficiency. And then we have STAR. This represents 3rd through 8th grade. This represents our EB students, our emergent bilinguals, who achieved at least approaches grade level, so the minimum standard for passing. You can see that social studies was the weakest area. However, reading, we had the majority pass reading. Then, when we look at high school, remember we had the social studies was low for those 8th graders, but then in high school, U.S. history was the highest achieving EOC assessment for those students. Biology was also way up there. Below 50% of them were proficient on their English 1 and English 2 assessment, and so that can be another goal that we will focus on. So we had an increase of 35 students for our 24-25 school year. So with that, we do want to continue to get more ESL teachers certified, and we want to continue to do everything we can to help our emergent bilingual students continue with their English language proficiency. And I thank you for your time. Do you have any questions for me?
1 second. Is there any kind of incentive to get a classroom teacher that doesn't have that certification, to go take the test and get
Right,
that
so
certification?
currently what we do is we offer to reimburse the cost of the test upon passing. I want to say it's like $175, don't quote me on that. We reimburse for that. If they're going to do a prep course, we pay for the sub for them to go take the prep course, and that's where we're at with that.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
8B, the delinquent tax report.
Got our friends from Linebarger here to update us. Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Ruffin and board. Thank you for having me. My name is James Calkins. I'm a proud Bear dad, so I'm your neighbor, and this is my district. So I'm very, very proud to be here. All right, let's see if I can work this thing. With me is Jeff McRae, the incomparable. This report is for the delinquency, or for the period of October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025. You saw me at the last presentation of this. Jeff had given it, so this is with my tenure. Start off with mailings here. We have 4,665 mailings that we sent out. This is a progressive process that we go through, letting delinquent taxpayers know they owe taxes, and that we're going to take action on it. The third step there is the notice of intent to sue. That's our 10-day letter. These are very effective, and it's one of our most effective collective tools. Again, we're trying to do this as a friendly, collaborative way to get taxpayers to pay before we need to file suit. And then we advance to litigation if we have no response to our mailings. This is an overview of our litigation results for MISD. New lawsuits, we've got 38 petitions against 52 accounts. That is in the amount of $300,023 and some change there. Paid dismissals, these are instances where a defendant in a tax suit has been served with a citation, but then subsequently pays in full. And then judgments taken, that is after we proceed through trial and take a judgment, the taxpayer pays. And so in those instances, $261,889 was recovered. Release judgments, when we take a judgment, we recover those. A release judgment, this is after a judgment is taken and the taxpayer pays. That's $141,843. And then finally, we have pending lawsuits. We currently have 23 pending lawsuits against 34 accounts, and that's $223,538 outstanding. And then finally, we have our post-collection judgments. This is after judgment. We go to a tax sale on the property. We recovered $498,088.60 66 cents against all, and that is collected for all entities. All right. So in total, Linebarger's collected just over 1.6 million in current delinquent taxes, penalties, and interest during this reporting period. And on our last page here, we can see how that compares to 2022, 23, and 24. We're in current tax year 24. For us, that is our current tax year. So the reason that is low, that is reporting from July, August, and September. So that's 1 quarter essentially in that last column there for 2024. So we're currently collecting on those amounts. All right. Last one here. Our delinquent tax roll statistics. So that was a forward-looking graph. This is kind of a look back. We have 1,524 owners, 1,856 accounts. So our tax base is 3.229 million. And this is our closest report to the end of the month of September 30th. So tax deferrals, that is the amounts that we cannot collect, we can't mail on, we can't pursue lawsuits against, and that is 1.23 million. And that would do it. Any questions?
So are we better than previous years, or are we just about par?
We are up from previous years. That was my graphic back. Oops. There we go. So as you can see, we're kind of on par, certainly with previous years, but we expect that to go up significantly.
Okay.
So again, we're taking a snapshot of just 1 quarter from 2024, which is, we call it our current tax year, but that is for us a current tax year because we're pursuing the delinquencies on that just recently turned over in July.
Are the collections getting harder and harder to collect?
It's a secured payment, so we'll sell the property if we can't collect. Now, obviously those deferrals, we're not going to get those until something happens with that property owner, depending on what the deferral is. Generally, it's an over 65 deferral, and we have to wait for the estate to pay that.
Yeah.
That percentage of tax deferral, I think it was like 38% of the total delinquent tax roll, comparatively to surrounding districts, you don't have to name them, but they'll work with. Is that a typical percentage you should see of the DTR being 38%?
So going off 38%, where does that
Go to
number?
Ms. Steele, go to the, or I'm sorry, you got the clicker. Go to the next slide. So 38.1% of the delinquent tax roll balance is representative in tax deferrals, right? Am I reading that right?
So that 38.1% is the deferrals of the delinquent tax roll. So of that 3.2 million there,
Right.
1.2.
1.2 we're not going to touch, we're not going to get. But is that a percentage that you see commonly, or is it higher than that?
We're higher here because it's mostly residential and where you're going to have more deferrals. And so it's on par with what we will see. You know, we don't have a lot of industry, commercial, even the businesses on that graph is, I mean, that magenta color at the bottom there, that's our your business personal property, so which would be retail and industrial and commercial properties. So with that, that 38% is right in line with what we've got as far as residential delinquencies.
And Mr. Davidson, question over here also. So what gets passed to y'all is what we don't collect, right? So if we have a year that we collect 97%, y'all would then go pursue the 3% that we don't collect. But there's years that we may collect 98%, there's years we collect 96. So what are the trends that we're seeing on just the overall tax collections? Yeah.
We have a wonderful tax collector, and yes, she does a very good job. So we're seeing generally 1 to 2% is the delinquency rate in our county.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thanks, sir.
All right, thank you all.
And 8C, bond update.
Mr. Mansfield. So we've kind of shook up the bond update a little bit. We've done this now since 2022 and highlighted kind of the same progress measures along the way. But now that we've got a lot of things completed and done, we want to just kind of shift the focus on what's been done and the impact that it is now having throughout our district.
All right, thank you for that intro.
Thank you.
That's my thoughts exactly I wasn't here from the very beginning, but I can tell you this presentation is definitely a little bit different in my own heart than what we've done in the past. To see things that are in progress, but then to see kids in the spaces completely changes the perspective. So this is going back to where we started with this whole bond and that bond kind of ballot language right there with the 3 props. We'll start out with the den.
Hey, Mr. Mansfield, I'm going to ask you to go back to that slide 1 second. Because the reason that we do want to keep including this little screen grab is that's our accountability measure essentially to our stakeholders. That's the document that went out that said this is what the bond is going to do. And at the end of this process, if we can't go down that list and put check boxes on every single one of those, then we've got problems. And you'll see throughout this presentation and as we go through it, we have successfully worked through each one of those and touched them and made improvements and are going to continue to do so. And that's why it stays up on our website. Like, that's not down. We want it to still be there. Well, what do they say they were supposed to do? That's what we said we're supposed to do.
So with the den, you'll see some kids in animal science and then the ag barn area right there and seeing some animals in there now. I think we have pretty much one of everything in there at this point that we could have. We've got goat, sheep, pigs, and steers and heifers in there. I think there's a steer. I know there's heifers. And then pigs as well. So, and that vet tech in that same building, back in that room, kind of hidden, and when you walk in the ag barn, you're kind of focused on going to the arena and seeing all the pens and all that stuff. But to the left in those classrooms is an entire group of kids who are learning to be or interested in vet tech. Cosmetology, here's a quote from a student in cosmetology that she's excited about her future and learning things that she knows she will use. And I personally know this student through my daughter's friends with her sister. And she raves every time she sees me about what goes on in the Cosmo lab. So it was great listening to her and talk about what's in there. Oh, I may have hit it too. This is actually that student's parent in here, and talking with her, not that there was tears in this parent's eyes, but you could sense the excitement when she talked about it. She's never talked about school to me, about school so much. She comes home excited to tell me what she does in cosmetology each day. It's a great feeling to know that she's excited to go to school. I mean, as a parent, I think that's really great to hear from your kid and see how excited they are. So that was one of the quotes. And kids are actively in there. They're manicures, pedicures. They're learning all the equipment. They've got those little heads up in all the classrooms that they're working on and their projects. And they're busily working and using the things that this community has provided to them. Okay, construction and automotive. I mean, we've walked through this space several times, and to see the cars that have been donated up there and kids working on them, they've already started some activities where you can come and get your tires rotated. There's some products that are coming out of construction. Some of them have utilitarian purposes in those rooms, but they built benches to go along for spaces to put things that they're working on within there. In the construction, automotive, the welding, every time I go in there, they're digging into it and making things and learning the equipment in there as well. Culinary arts. Now these kids have been busy here lately. They've been cooking for a lot of people, both in the district and some outside of the district. I think Dr. Ruffin hosts a superintendent meeting over there. We've been over there a few times. They have cooked. They have this thing that I wish Christy was here to talk about it. That they do kind of a community teacher group meeting for CTE, that they have lunch and just impromptu. Chef will cook for them. They'll come down there and the kids will prepare some food, and they eat as a team and as a campus from time to time. They kind of call it their lunchtime together, and they invited some SLT members over to showcase their kids' work and their cooking. And so we got to sit in the cafe at the Den as well. It was prepared well, and kids came out and. It's good to see them back there working. And talking with some of the kids in there, I mean, it's hard to capture everything they're saying. Several of them are talking at one time when I asked the question to me, but they love the fact, those that have been in the program for, that they love the fact they have all this space and all this new equipment and so many things to learn about. But they raved about the space, and you'll kind of hear that later on in the theme too. But they're excited about that space and using it. So health science upstairs, I think Ms. Turner expressed it best when you talk to those kids that are in those programs, they're excited to be able to leave with certifications, to be hands-on and digging in stuff that gives them to use the equipment that they're going to hopefully be using one day as part of their career. That's priceless. And in this bond, this community provided that opportunity for those kids. There's the 2 teachers in there as well, the 3 teachers in there, and every time you go in there, they're engaged in what they're doing. Robotics and engineering, they've been making a little bit of a mess in the middle part of the Den right now, but it's for a good reason. They're doing some buoyancy activities with some cardboard. They're making boats, big ones and small ones. They're actually going to sit in these boats. But I got a chance to sit down and talk with a few of them as they were working out in that space. One of the things that they loved about that robotics particularly is they get to use some of the materials that we provided to figure out how to make them better. And as I was watching them on a table work with this bot, there was 3 of them together, and you just automatically take yourself to like a Exxon or wherever they're going to be working, and they're doing the same problem solving as a team right there, and they're doing it with this robot. And it's not like a simple thing; it's a complex to go through these. And they're using the machines that cut down the band saws, cut down some of the robot size, and trim things up. It gets dirty in there throughout the period, and it's great to see that. One of the things that they did say in there is previously they would have to move from room to room in some cases on certain campuses to get some of the materials. They got to go in here for the tools. They got to go in here to access the technology. Now it's all in one place, and one kid made a point to say, I love having everything right here. And he was sitting at that robotics table in engineering room, and you could see the materials he needed over here to the left. He can walk over there and get them, and somebody from the team went and got something. Right behind him is the technology that they're pulling up and using right behind them, all in that space. So we're blessed to have that here. The welding shop, that's just another area that those kids are you can just tell that you can't bother them. Like you go in there, they're almost like, well, I don't want to talk to you right now. I'm right in the middle of this. They're digging in and doing things, and it's great to see them making things, inspiring to see that. So the audiovisual group here, they're a fun group, but that room is getting close to done. We've got one more thing. We had some hiccups with the power in the AV room, but it's being set up and being commissioned now. They're going to have access, and they already have access to a lot of cool equipment for them to prepare. And some of those kids are also working on our Friday night football games, so some of that same group. So that's CTE. Really proud of that building. It's coming along nicely as we move through. And watching kids get in there and do things, it really it makes me and my team happy that we get to be a part of getting and having the resources to give kids what they need to learn and be inspired, because that's truly what it's about, is being inspired as a career and a passion. So MHS renovation, There's not a whole lot of pictures, and I think y'all have seen all the progress up to this point, but I wanted to make sure that you guys knew that the work that had been done on that building was paint and a lot of tile and work done in bathrooms that may not show up in a picture real well or get quoted from kids saying, hey, I love the new bathroom. But I think when you walk in that building, just the refresh of the brightness in some of the hallways with some lighting changes, the audio-visual stuff that was included. One of the things, I stopped a kid in the hallway and he talked to me for a minute. He loves the new graphics. He was talking about those, and that big long graphic that replaced kind of the airbrush one along that main hallway. He pointed that one out specifically, and those are now, it's called P-Land, but it's a harder material. Before it was a temporary graphic up there. Kids can rub this, touch it, doesn't matter. It'll hold up for a while. So those graphics, I think, made a big difference in the little things that we did throughout the entire project with Stewart Builders. So really excited about that. The patio, working on some furniture right now for out there, but the kids are already kind of shaking the door trying to get out there. It is completely secure now, so the kids can't go out there. We were waiting on some fencing projects to get done there. So the Transportation Fuel Center, I love driving by this building every day. I take my daughter to Keenan down there, and I take 149. But it's to see the bright lights, the landscaping, the grass, and then that big fuel center in the back. And when you drive by in the morning, a lot of times the buses are gone, so you see the cars parked out there. And you really don't understand how big it is until the buses aren't sitting on it. And then you see this massive field of concrete that you'll hear about from the bus drivers here. We're down to punch items on that. We have a few things, a handrail. One of the things we did with some money that we did have saved and from contingency on the project is that break room was in bad shape at the Liberty Center. It needed a refresh, so we spent a small amount of money to get that painted, get some new base put in so they have a place that they can be proud of for their trainings and meetings. And a lot of bus drivers, they don't go home in between shifts. They hang out there, and you'll see them in there playing cards, watching TV, or even just visiting with each other. So there's some, just having that kind of updated and that was Pierre's idea. He said, hey, is there any chance we can get this updated? So I think he's trying to make it culturally a place where people are welcome. And the one thing we did notice in there too that you can see in the corner is we had a water bottle filler and a water fountain there. The one that was there wasn't working, so we got that upgraded. We just got to have our plumber install it. So I think you guys know Joanne. She's been here a long time. I don't even know how many years complete, but it's been a long time. She is Montgomery ISD. One of the things she said is we love the new parking lot. No more mud. I heard no more mud and rocks probably 10 times talking to bus drivers. They like the idea of getting out of their cars, walking to their bus, and they're not worried about tripping on anything, twisting an ankle, or having muddy shoes. So they're super appreciative about that. And all the extra space and trees, heard that over and over. And I like this picture because it's right at dusk, and you kind of get the idea of what the lights do. It's a safe place for them to get in and out of their cars at night, and even some of our coaches, when they get home, it is well lit. And then this is kind of I tried to capture kind of the vast size of it with no buses there, but that's that middle section where the cars park. No more mud, not on my bus, not in the car. So, and this is the awesome bus wash. So let's watch it in action. There's nothing more exciting than watching a bus being washed. So, but you wouldn't think so, but those bus drivers who have been hand washing those buses for a long time love the visual of that. So they've been using that. It's a mobile machine. It charges up in that big giant building you see. You push it in there. It was designed for that. Plug it in, charge it up, take it back out, hook it up to the water, run it through there, and it keeps our buses looking sharp. All right, and that was transportation. So the triplets were the other big project as well this summer. And on the triplets, the front entry we concentrated quite a bit on. They all three have new front entries and some touch-ups on that. There's still some punch work that needs to be done. They did quite a bit over the fall break of tile work at Lone Star. Got that wrapped up, except for a few other punch items with the figures that you see in the gang bathrooms. We had Tyler that was really top-notch at one of the schools, and I think he went home before he got to one of the other ones. So we got some work to do there. One of the kids that I stopped in the library, he didn't want to talk to me about the library. He said, the gym floor is soft and it's smooth. So the one there before was plastic, kind of pieced together plastic, and they love the new soft floor. So that was good to hear from them on that. And then, and you can see the risers here. So this is, previously it was the stage that would roll out, like, and you can push it back. This is the new stage that was added. And then we did get risers for 2 campuses that didn't have that, Lone Star and Stewart Creek. So their first performance, they'll be ready for some kids up there. And you can open up that movable wall, and the new sound system will carry all the way back to the gym so they can hear for those presentations. So those little curvy shelves right there, Ms. Fitzpatrick and the principals helped select those. And one of the reasons why is it had those old stuck bookshelves that you couldn't move in a lot of the campuses. And these are mobile. You can set them up however they want. Librarians sometimes like to get creative and change things. They can move those around and create different spaces. You can go in all 3 libraries and none of them look the same. They created these spaces for kids that are pretty cool for a small group, and they can also move everything out of the way and just have the entire space if they wanted to on those shelves. So they were excited about that. And then just a visual of the paint, trying to capture what the paint looked like. The acoustical ceiling right there and the lighting, those circular lights are new. The acoustical ceiling, we didn't have, we found a way to get the fabric on those acoustical ceilings from the 70s dated 80s looking colors, mauve almost color to these more neutral colors. And there's, I think, 17 of them throughout each school. Made a big difference, and they're located in the central parts of the hallways too, and all the lighting upgrades. And then here's one of the gang bathrooms that was done, all the tile was done, new sinks, the water fountains that were working were replaced, but if they were put back, and if we needed a new one, we put it in, and then inside of the bathrooms as well. All right, on the stadium, I think the stadium has been, the thing that most of the community has been able to put their hands on and in, right? Not everybody gets to go into Maley Ranch and the CT Center, but we've had a lot of community members come through this. Got a lot of positive feedback about the turf and the capacity and the size and all that, but we'll go to the next slide. So one of the quotes from Coach Cooper was, the upgrades to our athletic complex have really enhanced our facility and continues to show why our school district is so premier. Visiting coaches and players have been impressed with the new turf, expanded bleachers, renovated field house. The field house, I'm sure the visiting team likes, because what was there before, they were in the center section of there, and there wasn't a whole lot of room in there, and it wasn't, it was more softball-y, I guess. It had been decorated for that. So our players greatly appreciate the opportunity each Friday night to play at one of the best facilities in the area. They're creating lasting memories and tremendous experience of getting to play Texas high school football in a premier venue. So appreciate Coach Cooper taking the time to give us that. And Coach Kennedy, our new turf and updated logos really bring a fresh vibe to the teams, including a history of Montgomery on the field. The field house is modern, makes a difference for players and coaches. With more seats, people can come out and cheer for their favorite team. And it also adds a playoff hosting dimension as well. The film deck has brought to light its roominess and clear pathway for the video. So there's some good feedback from Coach Kennedy as well on that. And one of the last things, not the last thing we purchased, but if you go back to that sheet, one of the things that was tasked with us in this bond is to purchase land. So this board and superintendent have made it a point to go out and find it. And so this is one of the finalized purchase of the Ogerchok property right on 1097. Mark, I don't know if you wanted to chime in on that, or so. And we're continuing to look and assess, as you guys know, any other opportunities to gather up for future growth, because they don't make any more land. So all the things on that list, and it is a vast list on that bond that was promised to the community. There's more to come. Right, so we have savings and we have some other things that we're going to take care of. On the comparability side, we're looking hard at making sure that all of our campuses are as equal as they can be. One of the things that is getting done right now, they're down to 1 pole, I believe. They've got 3 of the 4 done, is the lighting that was approved in the last board meeting at the stadium. So we don't have a game this week. That lighting is going up. And I went out there last night, and one of the poles was done. And there's less lights, but it had already popped and made it brighter on that portion. So that should be finished by the end of this week for sure. Furniture packages, summer 26, 27, we're looking at elementary schools and Montgomery High School, Montgomery Junior High, and that. And then the elementary schools are the triplets, and then MES and Lincoln. That we're looking at some furniture package, and we'll start procurement on that for 5 of them coming up for this summer. Band instruments are still out there. We're getting updated quotes on that to get those for MHS. And if you guys remember the MHS, they have some outdated equipment there. That was something that I was told when I first came in here that we need to look at. And then we have some mechanical items that we're still working through. Currently, right now, my team we're almost done with it, is creating what was replaced with bond in our mechanical feature, what was done on each campus. We have some done through the packages that we get, package C, package D, and then we had some that were done outside of that as chillers broke and things happened. So that'll be coming up. Playground updates at Keenan and MES are the last two that we'll do with playground upgrades at this point. And then the technology upgrades, kind of an infrastructure thing is more than anything else, but access control phones, servers, and Chromebooks. Our access controls are out of date and need to be updated. And then phones are at the lifespan as well. So MHS baseball and softball cages, Coach LaPlante and myself are working with finding some vendors right now that we can have come in, look at it, and give us some pricing on some of those. And then MHS weight room. And then the MES flooring is something that's that's a priority. It's very similar. In fact, it's the exact same floor as this, and they just don't make this anymore. And it's due for an upgrade there. So we got a lot of things to come. There's still a lot to do on this bond. But from me as a parent and a community member, I'm super thankful that this community came to support what these kids could have in these schools. So.
I want to add a couple things on the more to come thing, and that's the exciting part about where we're at in this bond now. Is we're at a point where the projects we've promised, we've completed, or we're substantial completion, where we see the finish line. And now we can look at, okay, because, and it's a multitude of factors. You don't get to this place where you can now assess future needs, further needs, comparability things, if you don't have a good plan from the start. If you don't have good partners on bond planning, we use Huckabee to help us. Everything from the budget development process to building out the budget and identifying project costs and estimations, and then construction partners that do their job and do it well. Stewart Builders has done a great job for us. Those folks, and along with your team, the oversight of the board, the intentionality behind it, has allowed us now to look at money we have in interest earnings, money we've accrued through some savings and being under budget and under time in some places. And so just kudos to your team and to all of our partners that have helped us through this bond process, because now we get to kind of go play Santa Claus a little bit with, talking to our principal at Lincoln Elementary School, who has, I think, furniture that, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Busby, I think it's been on 3 campuses now. It's been on 3 campuses. And when it comes to our students' learning experience and our teachers' learning experience, you can paint walls, and we've done those things, but the feel of just the room when you walk in, and we now, as we're walking through our campuses and doing our learning walks, it feels a little different when furniture is collaborative, and it creates these collaborative spaces for our students versus the old school desks that we always have, like the wooden top and the black little metal, basin at the bottom. So this is just an exciting time, and we're really thrilled. We'll be able to put a plan together that allows us to select, certain campuses and say, okay, this is what we can feasibly accomplish this summer. What do we need to wait till next summer? But I know our staff and our students and our principals are going to be really excited when they get to have these conversations with us about, okay, it's your campus's turn. Let's start talking about furniture. So just very thankful for the position we're in.
I want to add a few things. I want to thank Huckabee. I was just sitting there thinking, looking at you guys out there, the number of hours that y'all spent in this district since we started this whole process. It's your enthusiasm hasn't wavered one bit through this entire process, and I can't thank y'all enough for what you've done for our district and what you continue to do for our district. For me personally, being involved in this process, from being on the bond planning committee to see what truly has happened in our district over the last 4 to 5 years is truly remarkable. So many students, it was a priority that we impact all students when we went through this process. And I can sit up here and say that I truly feel that we have impacted all students and all campuses through this whole process. Comparability was very, very important in this whole process. And no, there are new schools They'll never be like the old schools, but I can truly say that everything is comparable. These older schools have been brought up to date. They're bright, shiny. They're welcoming when you walk in there. The oversight of everyone that's been involved in this whole process. The fact that we can do what Dr. Ruffin has said, to add more pieces to it and get to play Santa Claus. It was important to see this thing all the way through the finish line and to see us come in under budget, to hopefully have the opportunity to do what we're going to be able to do. And we wanted to be able to sit up here to the community and say, everything we told you, we did. And I think we can all sit up here and say everything we promised, we did. When we went out for this bond, we were, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, we were one of 7 school districts across the state that passed all 3 parts of the bond. And we were able to do that because our community trusts what we tell them that we're going to do, we're going to do. And I would hope as we move forward that we still have that same kind of trust in our community, that when we say we need it, we need it. We've done all of our due diligence to make sure that when we bring it out there, we need it. So I just want to thank everyone, again, that was involved in this entire process. Again, thank you, Huckabee. I wish I knew the number of hours. I know y'all probably know, but it's been a lot. And they're here at these board meetings. They don't waver. They've been a true partner in this whole process.
Brad, I just want to say, you kind of started, what, a year and a half ago, I believe here, not from the beginning, but you've taken this head on, done an amazing job. It's been awesome. I just have one question that my kids keep asking me about the LED lights at the stadium. Are they going to be able to be programmed or controlled, like to dim, darken, lighten up?
I can't dispel that information right now, sir.
Okay.
But there would be somebody outside of this room that could be very upset with me if I said everything that was going to happen. So, but
Understood.
I think you can read into that a little bit, that there's a little bit of fun with them as well.
Okay, good
There
deal.
is.
Awesome, thanks.
And I did visit the restrooms at MHS on Meet the Teacher Night, and they are fantastic.
There you go. They are. And it makes a difference when they see that, so.
Anybody else? Any other questions?
I usually, if I could say just one more thing, I usually do this at the beginnings, but I fail to because half of them aren't even here. Thank you, Huckabee, for sure. They have tolerated me and I've tolerated them for the last year and a half. But it's been a great relationship. But without David Crow, Joe Kynard, and Amanda Davis, none of this stuff would have happened. And there's a lot of other people in this room that impacted the bond as well, but who was doing a lot of the work behind the scenes. I can't thank them enough, and I wish they were here. But they're good people and they're hard workers. So.
Well, if there's nothing else, it is 7:31 and this meeting is adjourned.